Hello, this is Greg Moss from First Class Computer Consulting. This video is basically going to give you a rundown of OpenERP 7, the very basics, why you might want to use it for your company, and why it's a good choice for people who need to extend an application, and why it's cost effective. This is an open source program. There's no license fees required to install it yourself and use it. Um, but at the same time, they offer great support and an enterprise edition for those who need that additional support. So let's get started. I'm going to log in here, and this is a basic installation. It just has in it the very basic modules. And so I'm going to go over here to settings and show you that even though this is a very simple install, you're going to have a selection of a lot of different types of business applications that you can pull into this system. We've got purchase management, MRP for manufacturing, bill of materials, and those kinds of things, managing your warehouse. As we scroll down here and look a little bit more through it, you can have payroll systems, expense management. But the nice thing about OpenERP 7 is you're not required to install all this right at the beginning. Essentially, this is just the sales management module and a customer relationship management module to manage customers. So let's do a simple walkthrough of how you might handle a sale in OpenERP 7. I'm going to jump over to sales, and right here we see that we can create a customer. So we'll go ahead and start. We'll just put in very simple customer for your company, and you can decide whether this is a consumer or perhaps you're doing a business to business type sale, which would be a company. We'll just leave it right now a consumer. You can use these tags right here to give basically descriptions that you might want to keep on the customer. So I could go in here and say walk in, for example, if they were somebody that we wanted to keep track of how they came in to the company. All this is optional, but we'll just quickly put in an address and your cities. And you'll notice now how it will automatically, as I type, fill in the states, put in a zip code, and we'll just leave it at that for now. We don't need to put all that in there. And you see a nice clean interface here, and we got a customer in there. Now let's jump over and sell this customer something. So we'll create a sales order, and from our customer list we can pick John Smith, and it'll default to today's date, and we'll add the item, and we got a service item in here, so we'll say we're just selling them for now, basic service, and we could put in, say, the quantities per hour, for example, and if there's taxes or not, but we'll say that there's no taxes on this item. Now when I hit save, we've essentially created a quote for that customer, just like that, ready to go. I can confirm the sale right here, and now we actually have a sales order in the system. If we needed to, right away we can hit create invoice, and just like that we can create and view the invoice. So we'll go ahead and create and view it so we can see the actual invoice, and we'll validate the invoice, and just like that we have a sale in the system. Now of course they're going to probably pay this invoice, so let's jump over and register a payment. And we're going to pay this invoice. Let's say they pay cash, just like that. Hit pay. And that simply, we've basically walked through an entire transaction all the way from creating the customer, creating a sales order, all the way through the invoice. We can jump over here to the invoicing module, and we'll see our customer invoice here. Myself as the administrator who did it, and the fact that it's paid. Now, because systems get complex and there could be a lot of things that you might want to customize for your own business, and one of the beauties of OpenERP is that it's real simple to change the way this works. So perhaps maybe you don't need to validate an invoice, or perhaps you don't want to do a quotation, you just want to jump right into a sales order. Perhaps you want to add some additional fields. What I'm going to do here is quickly just show you a little bit on a more technical scale how easily that's accomplished. I'm going to go here to OpenERP. I'm going to activate the developer mode. Okay, the first thing I'll do here is show you an example of a workflow. Um, and if I go up here and choose Edit Workflow, this is going to bring up a diagram of how the system works. And so you'll see here that we can have a draft sales order that then if it's canceled, we go to a cancel process. If the quotation is set to true, it'll be sent here and it flows into the invoice and so forth. Now I'm not going to get in this video of all the ins and outs of how you change these workflows. This is basically a demonstration so that you can see that OpenERP is designed in a modular format. So if there's a part of the system you don't like how it works, you can use this workflow designer to change how it works for your business. And it's visual and allows someone with a little bit of technical expertise to dramatically change this product so it works for you. The next thing I'll show you is how easy it is to collect information or to extend the system in a way that might be beneficial to your business. So if I go here and open up the sales order, let's just say for example that we're doing this for, like for example, an insurance company. Well, there might be like a policy number that's special. Well, you know, we could put this in the customer reference, but we'll use this as an example to just extend this with a field, an extra piece of information that we're going to collect for this company. So I'm going to go here to edit our form view, or manage our views, and I'm going to hit edit. Now this is a little bit technical, but this is to just kind of show how easy this is to add additional information to the system quickly. So inside of my of here, I'm going to click the add button, add a new field, and I'm going to add a new field, and we're going to just call it policy number. And we'll make it a character field. So essentially this will let us type up to 64 characters, and we're going to call this field policy number. And we will hit save. Now, in this example, maybe you'd want to have policy number with the customer, but what if they have more than one policy? This is just an example. So I'm going to hit update. And I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this again. And now, immediately, as soon as this form refreshes, here you have a policy number added to this form. I can hit edit on my sales order, and let's put in policy number JC51230 and hit save. And just like that, we've extended this sales order to collect more information. Didn't have to do really any fancy programming. It's something that a lot of people can do for their own business. And if I go back to sales order and open it up again, you'll see our policy number there, and it'll be available every time we create a sales order. So I hope you can see the power in that depending on your business type, whether you're in a CPA firm, or if you're selling retail products, or if you're a veterinary clinic, all these things allow you to customize your orders to collect information fairly easily and extend the system. Let's just show you one more example, that if we go out here to our sales order listing, as we add sales order, you'll see we have our order number, our date, customer, salesperson, etc. Well, perhaps maybe in this instance, in this business, you don't need salesperson there, but you'd really like that policy number there. And so let's see how easy that is to do. We're going to go back to our manage views, and it knows because we're on this view, this is the one we want to change. So I hit edit, and here's what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, we don't really need this partner ID showing up here, so we're going to edit this here and make it invisible. I'm not going to remove it. I'm just going to hide it, and instead let's add in our field for policy number. So now we don't need to make a new field, it's in our list and it's right here at the bottom. So the policy number's there. I hit update. It adds it to the list. And I'm going to hit close to close all these. And just that simple, it comes back and now we've got policy number in our list here under our sales orders. Again, this is a very quick overview just to show you some of the power that you can get right away by using this system to extend your business model, customize it for your business, and yet it's real easy to use and it has all the basics all in place for you. So now let's take it a little bit further here. Let's every company, you know, practically has some kind of need to schedule things and to interact with their customers. So let's say this John Smith person needs to set up an appointment, wants to come in and discuss their policy. So I click meetings and brings up our schedule here, and I can click on the day that we want to schedule them, and it brings it up. And it's just warning me here that I don't have an email address for John Smith, and that's easily turned off. But we can say the meeting subject is discuss policy. If we needed additional attendees to be at the meeting, we could add them here and pick the date and the time. There's a nice little slider down here, so if it's going to be, say, a 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. appointment, we can do that and schedule it and how long we expect it to be. Let's just set up tags and things, so if you wanted to have it, you know, internal meeting, and these are customizable, and any notes you want to say, wants to renew, and hit save. And just like that, we've got a meeting scheduled for that customer. We can then look at our meetings in a list view if we needed to, so we could see all our meetings in a list. We can, you know, look at the form itself, go back and look at the form. And then we also have a Gantt view, meaning that it's going to put it into a list by day. We can see all of our different meetings listed out this way. So as we got more data in here, you'd see the screen fill up. Alright, next I'm going to show you a little bit about the communication features. You know, we schedule a meeting. If we look back at our customer record here, we can see that we got one meeting and we got one sale. So if, you know, we click on the meetings, we can see when their meeting is. And I can go back up here and click to our customers, and if we wanted to look at the sale, there we're going to see the sale for that specific customer. What I'm going to do now is show you how you can communicate information about this customer. Internally in companies, there's usually a lot of communication that has to happen on a daily basis. For the example in this insurance example, you could have a policy. Somebody comes in, they want a policy. Well, usually there's a review process. Someone else besides the person actually taking the information will want to review that policy before it's approved. So let's say that this customer, for example, has come in, they want a policy, and we've assigned them a temporary number, but we need to have it reviewed. And what I'm going to do is, I'd already put in some examples here, but one of the things you could simply type out is, we have reviewed the policy and we are ready to contact the customer, and hit post. Now what I've done is, here on the right is you can set up followers to follow this communication. So say in an environment that is an insurance agency, that might be an insurance review process where you have a manager that looks over the policy, makes sure everything's in shape. The nice thing about this system, with the emails and the way it communicates, it could be someone outside the company, like an underwriter, that would actually do that. We could use the example here for a veterinary clinic where the doctor would be a follower of their customers, or we could say patients, but those customers essentially would then have following it the assistants and have the doctor themselves, so that as communication is exchanged on that particular customer, uh, that everyone is in the loop. There's a documentation trail. It provides information that keeps things a lot cleaner. So in this case, I had said we reviewed the policy and we were ready to contact the customer. So now the beauty of this is that someone, your day gets busy, you got hundreds of customers through the week, and you click on your customer and you click here and you want to see what's going on right here at the bottom of their record. You can see all of the things that have happened to the point that here at the end we have reviewed the policy and we're ready to contact the customer. Well, perhaps for this user, that means that you want to tell someone to do that. So I could say, Tom, please contact the customer this afternoon to tell them this has been approved. And I hit post, and now that becomes part of the customer record. But in addition, there's an entire messaging system here that we can look at this archive here and see everything that's been happening since we started testing this system. So if I go back down here, I can see that we had a sales order complete, we had a confirmation confirmed, and when the document was created. So this is all the information that we did earlier creating a sales order. Here we can see the detail of the invoices that we created. Here is our communication with the customer, all here in our archives. Now you might not need to go through this, but if you ever have a question in your business and people are wondering like, well, did we do this? Did we document it? Where were we at with that person? This allows you to control that. And there's a search feature right up here. Using the search feature, I could type in Tom and hit enter, and now it's going to basically limit this information to content that has to do with Tom and any of the associated documents that he would be with. So this is a powerful feature. Now I'm going to look at the to-do list. Do I have anything to do? It doesn't look like I do. Nothing for me to do. But here's the interesting thing. If I am looking at this customer, I'm going to pull this up and say, Tom, please contact this customer, tell them that this is improved. I can say, you know what? I need to do that. I need to make sure that happens. So I want to make sure that I follow up on this. So I just click that, and that tells me I need to follow up on that. So if I happen to see what I need to do that day, I go over here to the to-dos, and now look at this. Here's my message that I sent to Tom, but it's allowed me to add this to my to-do list to make sure that I am within the loop here and that I know what's going on. And if I get a contact from Tom, he says, yep, the customer's been approved and they've been told we've made that call. I can hit this done button, and now it drops off my to-do list. If I go back to my archives, I can see here that it's been told to be approved. Another great feature of OpenERP is that you can extend this system very easily, and we're going to do that right now. We're going to add an accounting and finance module. So I click accounting and finance, and this essentially brings in the full-blown accounting system that you would expect inside of a lot of companies. So here under accounting now we have our customer invoices. It pulls in any supplier invoices you have, because as you order things, you're going to want to keep track of all that coming in and out of your business. You have bank statements, journal items, your chart of accounts that it's going to ask us to set up for the first time. So I'll go ahead and do that. And it uses the typical standard numeric format. This is all customizable, so you can create a chart of accounts that works for you. And I just wanted to show how easy this is to extend this system. That within just one click, we have added an entire accounting module that really provides a lot more information about the back end of the business. If we go back to our settings here again, maybe we want a project management, things that need to get accomplished. Purchasing management is probably a good one to look at. So I'll hit install, because every business at some level has got to purchase things, whether it's office supplies, whether it's actually some products that you might sell in a retail environment. Managing that purchasing can take time. If you find yourself on the phone a lot ordering products, if you find yourself having to do manual ordering of things, in today's environment, it's very possible to set up systems with pretty much any supplier, so that you can pretty much automate your purchasing. So in this example, we can set up a supplier, and I'll hit create. And again, we a lot of times suppliers are going to be companies, so we'll do that, and we'll say for in this example that the supplier is for office products. So I can say Office Supply Depot or something like that. And you know, as a simple example here, you can put in all the addresses and their website and all this information that's important. And you might want to, you know, create a contact. So who do you talk to in that company? Well, we usually talk to Bill Smith. And we can put in there that they're the sales director as an example, and provide an email address and all that other thing. And I'm going to go ahead just for that, so we can show a little bit of how easy that would be. And I'm going to hit save and close, and now you'll see them as a contact down here. I'm going to click back on it again to show how easy it is, because we probably would want their phone number, so that now when you look at this card down here, you pull up your supplier, you got their phone number right there. Again, like in the customer, you can set up meetings, you can set up calls. What you'll probably be doing a lot of is you know, setting up purchase orders or getting quotations. We'll jump right into a purchase order and hit create. And we're going to pick our supplier, and as you'll have your list of suppliers there. You can have a supplier reference. That's also very popular in a company, that you might have your own numbering system, your own coding that you might assign to a supplier. And then I'm going to hit add for a product, and now you'll notice that we only have service. Now they're not going to provide service, so instead they're going to provide an actual product, but right here on the fly we can create a product. And let's say that you're purchasing, in this case, we'll just say an office chair model 3452, for example. And you can set up categories for all your different types of products. You know, you'll have to imagine it in your business. It's going to be entirely different. If you're, for example, in a electronic supply company, your products that you might order, we'll switch it over to that right now. For example, you might be ordering a circuit board for a generator 45321, and you could then here on the fly create and edit and call this electronic parts. And we can set that as the parent category, obviously. And there's category types, and your accounting and everything. You'll want to, obviously when you set this up, make sure you get all that right. But here I'm just showing an example how easy it is to start organizing your products into groups and to assign them to suppliers. And you can decide, is this a consumable, is it a stockable product, or is it a service? We'll say this is a stockable product. And we're going to say the price of this is, say, $22. And again, an internal reference number would be very popular to have some kind of internal code that you assign to a product. Makes it easy to communicate. And then you have barcoding available. And here you have a big note section to describe the product. So you know what you're buying. And hit save. And so just like that, we've added this product. I know I don't have it associated with the right supplier here, so let's just show how easy it is to just jump in here and say that this company is actually Electronic Warehouse is the name of their company, and how quickly it is to just hit save, because we're wanting to get this done fast. Maybe we're in a hurry and we need to order 5 of these, and unit price $200. I can hit update, and just like that, we've got our total. I can hit save. I can confirm our order to get the price. We've got our price quoted, and you'll see up here at the top, one of the nice things is as a particular transaction is going through its steps, you'll see up here at the top the progression. And it's at this point, is it done? Well, no, it's not done yet because we haven't received the products. But at this point, I'm just going to go back to the quotations. We don't have quotes now. We're past that. We've actually got a purchase order, and we have an expected date. So we're expecting it on that date. Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't at that time. But anyway, when it's time to receive the products, we're going to jump right in here to the receipt of the products. It shows that there's been 5. And you know, if this isn't right, this is where you can jump in and change that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and say we received all 5 like we expected. And well, we could say we only received 4, but we're going to make it simple. We received them all. And just like that, we've received the products. They're in. It shows it right over here on the far right where my mouse is pointing that we've received these products. They're actually in stock now. And if we needed to return them handily, there's a return button right there. I'll take this little break to say that OpenERP's developers did a great job of making it simple and clear, and the interface is very clean. And to also remind everyone that this is an open source product. Your company can actually have the code behind this. It's something that isn't just written by a company, say like a Microsoft or SAP or QuickBooks, where you can't make changes to that. It's what you see is what you get. And the same with a lot of proprietary products. There's products specifically made for managing electronics or managing insurance companies or managing a veterinary clinic. But in this case, you'd have to be stuck with what they're selling you. In this system, we can quickly go in, as you saw, and add and change how this works. So we've received the invoice, and the products are in stock. So let's do another just quick example of how that could work out for us. We're going to create another customer real quick. Say Linda McLean. I knew a Linda McLean at one time. And we're going to say that she's going to want to buy those products we just received. So I'm going to save. We jump over into our sales order system, and we're going to create a sales order for her. Pick her as the customer. Add the item. And now in the list, we got our circuit board. We pull it up. Go across. We got our unit price. And let's say we want 6 of those. look what it was smart enough to do. Not enough stock. You plan to sell 6, but you only have 5 units available. Real stock is 5. So we can go ahead with that. She needs 6, we've only got 5. But again, to keep it simple, and we'll get into more complex ways how that's easily handled later, but we're going to update our total. We got a price. We confirm the sale. And we're going to go ahead and invoice her and create the invoice. And we're going to invoice the whole thing. And just like that, we're done. We can even now click view the delivery order, and we can see, like for a packing slip, that it should have shown here though that we have received those. Set available is what I forgot to do. Even if it's received, that doesn't mean you've actually put it into your warehouse and made it available for sale. Because a lot of companies, they'll have a separate receiving as opposed to stocking. But you can see how quickly I took items that were received and turned them into an actual stockable available product. One of the things you'll notice as I was mousing over there, OpenERP is also really good at giving you information about what it's about and telling you what these statuses mean. So there's a lot of different statuses that products can be in, and with this little tooltip right here, that's going to help you see exactly what those different statuses really mean. So we can hit deliver, and here's the delivery of the products. I hit deliver, and this essentially tells the system it's good to go. This product has actually been delivered to the customer, and then you have this option here to print a delivery slip. And you'll notice one of the interesting things here is it creates PDF files. So we have a PDF here that popped up of the delivery order. It'll be right there that you could slip right into your packing slip or hand to your customer. And obviously I haven't filled in all our customer or company information here, and I don't have logos and such, but it's just a basic install, and I think a good example of how quickly in OpenERP you can actually just get down to business. So I'm going to move forward here just a little bit and show a few other things before I wrap this up. You'll notice as we added things up here to the system, we got accounting. Now we have a message for purchasing. We have a warehouse item here where we can see all of the transactions that has taken place. We also have a reporting module, so we can create different ways of reporting. And so this is a perfect example to show you the dashboard functionality. Let's say every day you come in, you're going to want to look at a summary of your business, what's going on. Maybe one example of that might be your scheduled calls. So if I go to here to scheduled calls, or scheduled calls, we don't have anything in there right now. But I'm going to go ahead and create one. So I'm going to create a call summary, and we're going to make a conference call. Let's just use an example of we're going to call the Chamber of Commerce and give them a phone number, blah blah blah, and the date we want to make the call. And we're just getting some data in here so you can see how these reports work, these dashboards work. And I'm going to hit save. So that now we have this scheduled call. Just like with customers, we can create people to follow this basically call and bring other people in on it, and so that they're involved. So if I went here and hit add others, once again I can go up here to say I want to notify, for example, Bob Jones of this, and hit save. Wants an email, so we can notify him. Again, that's configurable. We wouldn't have to stick with that. It's just by default the system likes to tie everything in with emails. And so now you can see them added as a follower to this document, so they'll be informed as these things happen. We've got some sales orders already. We've got a couple of them in there. So what I'm going to show you here is how to do a dashboard. And Real quickly, I'm going to run over to reporting, and I'm going to see that my dashboard is empty. And they give you some really clear instructions here on how to add a dashboard and create your own. And I'll read that off. To add your first report into the dashboard, go to any menu, switch to List or Graph View, and click Add to Dashboard to extend the search options. You can filter and group data before inserting it into the dashboard. So let's say we want to see what our sales are when we come in. We want to see that. And so I'm going to go here to Sales Orders, and there's our list. And to add it to the dashboard, I click up here and hit Add to Dashboard and give it a name, and I'm going to say Sales Orders and hit Add. And so what that's telling the system is that we want to see this information when we come in the morning, and we want to look down and see what's going on. One of the other ones, and why I put that scheduled call in here, is we probably want to see the calls we need to make. That's a nice thing to add to our dashboards. So I'm going to go back up here again, add to dashboard, and it filled in a pretty good description here, but I'm going to call it scheduled calls and hit add to dashboard. So you can label these things on your dashboard as you want them. Then let's say we also want to probably have a list of any purchase orders that are outstanding. So I can click on purchase orders, and there's our electronic warehouse supply purchase order in there. I'm going to go back up here, add that to the dashboard, and we'll say purchase orders. These are just examples. You get to customize this the way you want. So now I've added those three things to our dashboard, and when I go to reporting and look at my dashboard, look how quickly here we can see our purchase orders, our scheduled calls, and our sales orders. Now purchase orders might be the least important. Click it up, drag it under the scheduled calls, and put the sales orders above that. It's configurable. There's even a way to change the layout here, so maybe we put these things side by side like that. We'd have to have a little wider screen for that, but as you can see, this is real flexible as to how you configure what you see each day. Now I'm just going to kind of finish up this little simple thing again to look through all these available modules to see that how you can take the simple examples that I've used and extend them with lots of extra functionality, like expense management, timesheets to keep track of your employees' time. A big one here is this MRP system, and that'd be for a manufacturing organization where you'd actually create and build products. Issue trackers. An issue tracker could be very useful for as you find problems or you're trying to solve breakdowns in service delivery and things like that. There's a point of sale module here so that you can set up a very fast visual counter-based retail point of sale system. There's a project manager that's very robust. I'm going to go ahead and click that just to see how quick it is to install this project manager and be able to begin using it to organize projects. You might have a project to do an upgrade for the office. You're going to extend into a new product line, something that requires several steps. Now you have a built-in project manager just by hitting create, and I'll say, for example, how about reorganize the warehouse as an example. And you have controls. You can even attach it to customers, which is interesting because some companies end up with very complex requirements for a single customer. For example, if you were building in construction, for example, if you're in the construction industry and you have a customer that's wanting an office building built, you can quickly see how having a project manager attached to a customer allows you to manage maybe dozens, if not perhaps hundreds of tasks associated with that product. Here you can add team members. You have other information like the start date of the project, when you want the project to end. stages of tasks that you can customize as to the different components that are going to be required for that project, and hit save. And now we've created this project that is part of the system. I'm going to jump back over to settings and look at another one, maybe finish up with this notes. Everybody needs to have notes, I think, in their business, because some things are just kind of out of the normal. You know, they just pop up here, and you want to take care of them. So you go here to your under your organizer, and you have notes, and I can hit create. And hit save. And now we got this here. Now I'm going to jump over to this Kanban view, because this is kind of neat. Here's your notes, and it looks like notes. You know, they're sitting out there. And if I said, well, I said today, but instead we're going to move it to this week. We can expand this out and add a quick day, quick note. I want to say, for example, wash counter, add. So here's just an example of a quick little application. We've extended this system to allow additional functionality. You don't have to add these things in. If you miss it, just put it under later. And here, the interesting thing is, you can actually add columns here. So let's add a new column and call it tomorrow. I even try to spell tomorrow right. We can change it later, and then we'll drag this tomorrow right after today. And so this was when I wanted to expect the new sign set up. So here's a note, just an example of a little application, a business-centric application that we quickly added to this system. And as you look through this, you know, employee appraisals, recruiting processes, leave management, all different kinds of templates for chart of accounts, suppliers, check writing, managing budgets. And you'll notice here at the bottom there's 165 more of these that are just included automatically with a basic install. And as I scroll down, you know, and keep looking through all these, you can see that there's a lot of international components. So if you're in the international business, that you can really configure this to pretty much do anything that you would expect from a high-end ERP system. The beauty, however, is, again, repeating, this is an open source system. There's literally hundreds of developers that are working to extend these modules. You can download this software right now and begin using it. The licensing is written in such effect that you can use this software for free if you're willing to take the time to, you know, learn basic server setup, install the software, and do all the configuration yourself. If you're wanting to take that on, you have that freedom. The best part, however, is there is also a full service and a full enterprise offer here, where you get a backing of a company that's going to fix bugs, will help you migrate your data, and is there to support you if anything should go wrong. It's essentially the best of both worlds. I'm going to pretty much wrap it up there. I did want to just quickly go over and summarize the advantages. Obviously, as you can see, the system is easy to use, it's fast, it's responsive, the interface is clean, and you're not stuck with a lot of extra junk that a lot of times gets into systems that get bloated. In this system, you install what you need. If you don't need a payroll system, you don't install it. If you don't need purchasing, you don't install it. Perhaps you just need a list of customers, a customer database. This system will let you do that. I showed you earlier how easy it was to add your own custom fields. And I think that's a very powerful and important point to make, because every business is unique. You're going to have a situation where your customers are going to have certain needs that other customers wouldn't have. I use the example in the insurance industry here with John Smith and his sales order, that we quickly added policy number here to the sales order. So no programming required. You didn't have necessarily have to have hours and hours of development to extend this system to include a piece of information you might need. If you're in the electronic supply business, well, then maybe that information is going to have to do with the classification of what type of company. Or if you're in, for example, the veterinary business, you might have pet names. You might have test results. You can being able to extend this system and customize it for given markets is a very valuable component. OpenERP has been used in healthcare. It's been used in school systems. For example, you could extend these modules to include information for students, grades, and those kinds of things. It makes for a very powerful platform. I showed you the workflow design of where if there's additional approval processes you need, you can add them in. If there's additional validations of data, you can add that in. If perhaps there's too many steps in their base workflow, the one that comes with OpenERP, the standard workflow, you can take some steps out. Maybe you want to go directly from, as soon as you make a sales order, it's automatically an invoice. A perfect example would be a retail point of sale. Somebody walks up, sets the product on the counter. You don't need to have a sales order be approved. You just jump right to the invoice. So to conclude, you can see OpenERP on the web, and we've got other videos that get into installation and some customization. We intend to create more specialized videos that will demonstrate how you might configure these OpenERP products across a variety of industries. So with that, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And please click the like button and leave comments. Thank you very much.